You can see my shirt.
I can see your shirt, and not just that, but we're live.
Dang it.
He's trying to show off the Titan Bros merch. As I said before, the Titan Bros merch can be found absolutely nowhere. Because when I created the logo, I saw I made a couple of shirts and a couple of hats, and that's all I did. But anyways, that's not what you're here for. Today, we're going to do a preview of the third and final preseason game, Titans v. Saints. Let's do it. Welcome back to another Titan Bros video. It's going to be a great show today because every show's a great day because the season's just around the corner, which that doesn't make sense because there's videos during the season, which doesn't mean it's a great day because the great video because it's right behind the corner. Okay. All right, let's take two. Boop, boop. All right. So it's going to be a great video because all of our videos are fantastic, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The problem is we don't have a script and I just hit the record button. In fact, he was trying to pimp his merch as soon as I hit the start live stream button.
He really gave me no heads up, though. I'm glad I wasn't saying anything too embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, I was saying, like, all right, let's go. Here we go. I hit start stream, and you're still going to kill my shirt. But anyways, are you ready to jump into a little preview of the Titans versus the Saints, what we're looking for? I mean, right off the bat, obviously, it's very good that it is going to be the dress rehearsal game, which I feel like that should have been the second game instead of the third game. But what do I know? But anyways, it's the dress rehearsal game, so the Stars will play 3-ish series, as he said, depending on how long the series are. But it'll be fun to see because I said it, and I said it initially before I had seen what anybody else had said, but they all agreed with me and had the same sentiment where that was a boring game.
It
just
was
so boring.
It was.
Not only was the score low, but no starters. It was just boring.
Yeah. We only had one touchdown, I'm pretty sure, right? So I mean, it was backups in, and we didn't score a lot of points. It was kind of a dull, boring game. I get it, I guess, because he said that they practice so hard in these joint practices that they wanted to give the day off to the starters. So I get it, I guess, but it was a tough watch. I mean, at the end of the day, though, I'm just glad to watch Titan football. I mean, several people I work with, like, ew, you watch preseason? That's so lame. I know, when you love football like I do, I will watch it. If it's backups to the backups, and then I'm going to be watching it.
I completely agree. Tighten up in the chat. Agreed. Okay. Now, I mean, yeah, I agree. I just love Titans football, but for Titans football, that was just like, oof, that was rough.
Yeah, this game should be a little bit better, a little more exciting. Yeah. So the problem though is after this game we have 2 weeks in the desert, basically 2 weeks, which I hate because used to it was like a 10-day period between the last preseason game and the week 1, but now it's 2 weeks. But after that, it's showtime.
Yeah, at least we're not playing on Monday night. Do you remember that against the Broncos in 2020?
Yeah.
Where not only did we have to watch the Thursday night game, then we had to watch all the Sunday games, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, prime time, and we're just like, we still haven't played, and it ended up being a disgustingly ugly game. But that was the last time we've won in week 1. Was back in the 2020 season, we beat the Broncos because Gostkowski kicked a gazillion field goals but missed 4 as well, or whatever it was. But anyways, who cares about that? But yeah, we're about to go into a just a time period of just boringness. Nothing really going on. Nothing exciting. So yeah, let's go ahead and just start. Let's go ahead and start with offense. I'm gonna just come up with because I'll be honest with you, did this much research on this video? 0. I'm just off the cuff completely entirely. So I'm just gonna say the first thing I'm looking for is the offense. If they play 3 drives, I need to see 2 of them scoring drives. Kind of. You might be like, what do you mean? If we get 2 out of the 3 drives to be touchdowns, great. If we get a touchdown and a field goal out of the 3 drives, and then one of them don't get anything, 10 points out of the 3 drives, I accept. But the only thing that'll make it where I don't agree with this is if we have 2 field goals and then nothing. If we have 3 drives and we put up 6 points,
yeah,
then I'm not as much about it. But that's what I honestly want to see. 2 scores if it's 3 drives.
Yeah, that would be ideal, I think. I would take that. 10 points, 14 points out of the 3 drives would be nice. Now, what I don't want to see, and it's a possibility, 3 drives, 0 points, or 3 points maybe. And you're like, well, that doesn't give me much confidence or hope for the 2 weeks we have to sit there waiting for week 1. But we looked good week 1, preseason week 1 when we played. So hopefully we can, at least have some of that in this game. But, you never know.
I will say I want to see us drive down the field. You might be like, what do you mean? You got to remember, both of Will Levis's drives, we had a really good kickoff by Kyrus Jackson where we didn't have far to go. And then on the next drive, we had the punt, and Jaquan Jackson actually took it.
Yeah.
Good. So both of them were drives.
Specifically, we'll stay on offense. We can move to defense a little bit. But on offense, what is something you're looking it could be a position group or a individual player. What is something you want to see from your starters?
From the starters, I don't want a sack. How's that sound?
Okay,
so I feel like that's something we don't talk a whole lot about. I feel like, which we should, with the way our offensive line has completely derailed our season 2 years in a row. I mean, we had other issues as well, but the O line was the number one. So because they actually did perform pretty decently the first game that the first team offensive line played. So if we can do that again and have Levis upright, maybe a couple hurries where he has to, abandon the pocket and just little things like that. But I don't want to see, any 3rd and 8s where he drops back to pass and just immediately goes down like we saw happen to Tannehill so many times over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say something very similar. I was just gonna say the offensive line. I was more than okay with it in the first game in the preseason. But I was like, I want to see another good, clean game from them. Maybe make some holes for the running backs, protect Will Levis, for 2 or 3 drives. And if I can see that 2 games in a row, then I'm going to feel a lot better, going forward. So that's what I want to see. I know it's not the most flashy pick, but I'm keeping an eye on this offensive line. I want to see them to protect Will Levis. I want to see him make some holes in the running game like they did in week 1. And that's going to be my main focus. Watch J.C. Latham, our rookie, see what he looks like. And NPF on the other side and Radiance. Because, Radiance and I think NPF is probably the biggest question marks. Let's see what they can look like. Again, because they was okay, I think, in week 1 for me.
I will say, in training camp, the offensive line has just gotten considerably better.
I hope that, yeah.
Sadiq Charles and John Ajoku.
I think that was dumb of us. That was dumb of us. To be honest,
now, obviously we didn't have much choice with MPF because he was hurt. But I will never understand why Sadiq Charles just assumed like he was the starting role.
Because he was not good from what I heard.
No.
And
he wasn't good in Washington either.
Yeah, so I don't understand that. But yeah, glad that is fixed. That situation's fixed. But anyway, so I'm excited about that. So on defense, real quick, I just want to ask one question on offense. Tyler Boyd, is he playing?
He should play. His first day back in practice, he was lighting it up. So
I heard that. So I was just kind of curious if he was going to play or they're going to just let him rest it up until week 1. But so I would like to see what he does. And Hopkins is not going to play, but Calvin Ridley and Boyd, I'm assuming, is going to play, which is good because I think
Burks.
Is Burks going to play? You said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Good. As long as he doesn't fall on the ground, he's good.
Tell me about it. He needs to learn how to hit the ground.
Defense. What are you looking for what are you looking for on the defense?
Let's think about that for a second. Defense.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you go ahead and start.
I said this in week 1, and he did absolutely nothing. So I'm going to say it again. Show me what you got. I was not happy when we drafted you, so Code proved me wrong. I want to see what Mr. What's his first name? Sweat.
Devondre.
Yeah, that. I want to see what you got. I heard good things in offseason. I wasn't too thrilled with him. But when we drafted him, he did nothing in week 1. That's what he does today.
I will say, in his defense, now, if you're a good player, you don't need that much help around you to be a disruptor.
Yes, I agree. Jeffrey Simmons wasn't playing.
Yeah, Harold Landry and Jeffrey Simmons, for whatever reason, those two have just been like, yeah, they're.
And I did hear they're not playing this game either.
Right.
Which That is odd. I don't know why they get that special treatment, but oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem about our starting defense is still going to be without Snead. It's going to be without Simmons. It's going to be without Harold Landry. Is Diggs playing today? You know? Oh,
Condre Diggs, I would assume he's gonna play. I don't know yet. But I bet you Jamal Adams won't play either because he's kind of like L'Jarius Sneed, where he's like on a, I guess, a maintenance plan. I don't know what they want to call it, where they basically don't practice. Like apparently this is what L'Jarius Sneed did last year as well, and he only missed one game last year, but that game was kind of almost like a rest game because they didn't have anything to play for. So I don't know.
All right. Well, anyway, just we're not going to have all of our starting defense out though, so it's a little harder to get a feel on what we're going to look like. But yeah, Sweat's my guy. Who's your guy?
I'm gonna say I'm looking at the linebackers because we had a whole bunch of linebackers and they all started getting hurt. Luke Gifford got hurt. We have JoJo Doman, I think is what his name was. He was the very last one on the depth chart. He's hurt. Obviously, Cedric Gray, he's hurt. Otis Reese, concussion. So it's like James Williams, you've flashed pretty well so far. See if you can do it again. I hope so.
And that's who you're watching here.
I'm going to be watching James Williams, see what he can do. The Power Hour joined us again. He says, good evening, gentlemen. Which bubble player do you like making the 53? That's a good question. I know who I would like to see make it, and that's Gabe Judy Lolly, the cornerback, over Trey Avery, because if anybody knows anything about me, I have been so disappointed with Trey Avery. Not just disappointed with him, but the fact that he has to be used and relied upon year after year after year.
Not been a fan of him. I think with me, and I know you gave feel like your hopes is not very high that he's going to make the team, but Kyle Phillips. I want Kyle Phillips to make the team, and I know he has no value whatsoever on special team, but I think I think he's decent. I really do think he's a decent slot receiver, but again, I just don't know if he's gonna make it.
Yeah. I almost hate to say it, but he's not even a bubble player at this point. I think
You think it's just that gone?
I think what the biggest issue is Mason Kinsey can play slot. They've actually played him mostly outside during the preseason games as a outside wide receiver, which is rare for him. And obviously he can return punts. He's kickoff coverage. He's everything. Mason Kinsey is a special teams player. Jaquan Jackson, he's pretty dang quick and fast, kind of raw. So we'll see how that goes. But he also returns punts. Is that what he's been returning for us? Was punts? Yeah. Kyle Phillips is literally a backup slot and nothing more. Not an outside
decent backup slot, but
I think he's a decent backup slot too. But you know how it is, those roster fringe fellas.
Yeah,
if they can't provide any special
healthy.
teams,
there's no denying that.
No.
He's hurt now, so that does.
Yeah, I think that's what the dagger was in him. If he kept on just playing and just being impossible to guard like he likes to be in one-on-ones, and he played last week and he put him 30 yards on 3 catches or something like that, and then he played some more in this game and actually looked good. I think it's a completely different conversation, but the fact that one of his biggest issues was health, and he's hurt with a hamstring again.
Yeah,
it's just I just feel like it's the end of the road for Mr. Phillips.
Yeah.
That's why I would be considered almost what I'd like to do is if we could actually make him make the initial 53 and then just put him on the IR and let's just hold him because we still have him under contract next season. Because if we cut him, we have no ties to him at all next season. Unless, we try to sign him and he actually wants to come try out at camp. So that's why I would almost be okay with us just kind of holding on to him, make sure he makes the initial 53-man roster, put him on the season-ending IR, and just store him there. So that way we at least have him for camp next year, see if he can do something else. That's my input on Kyle Phillips.
Yeah, it's probably just, an unrealistic hope of mine, but that's what I want. I don't know. I've always liked him, but
I honestly think Kinsey's gone too. I think Kinsey's gone again. The reason I think
he can't make the roster, can he? Every
I think this is his 5th season. This is his 5th season with the team. And the reason I don't think he's going to make it is the pinky. When you're fighting for a roster spot and you break your pinky, and one of your main jobs is catching a football,
that doesn't help.
Yeah, apparently I was watching A to Z Sports. I think it was this morning, and they throw him tennis balls in practice because he can't catch with his 2 hands right now. So they're throwing tennis balls at him when he runs his routes. So I'm just like, oh, I feel like the coaching staff really likes you, and you're a nice utility guy, a good hype man. But I just kind of feel like you're probably gonna get stored in the practice squad again.
Yeah,
On
probably.
the plus side, the rest of the league don't seem to be interested in him in any way, shape, or form. So we just keep putting him on the practice squad. I mean, it works for me. Make him a game day elevation every now and again. So actually, here's one more defense. Back to what we were saying about the defense. The last thing I'll say about it is I would love to see Jalen Harrell continue.
Yeah,
because he might even get the start because Arden Key is kind of dealing with. I think he also had a hamstring that he's dealing with. So I'm sure they'll probably play it. If it's still bothering him, they'll probably play it safe with him. And if that's the case, it's possible Jalen Harrell might start regardless because Harold Landry's not playing. So we might just send Weaver and Harrell out there. So yeah, I would like to see Harrell continue his goodness.
He really flashed last game, which is good. If you could get any kind of value with a 7th round pick, that's pretty good though. So I like that.
John Robinson kind of struggles with value out of 1st round picks. So if he can get some value out of a 7th round, I'll take it.
Yeah. I would say at this point, I have more hope for him than Rashad Weaver. I've seen all I want to see from Rashad Weaver, to be honest.
He's a one-trick pony, he's tall, so he can knock the ball down really well.
Yeah, and he does do that some.
Yeah, I think he did it in the first preseason game, actually.
But I just, he don't do it enough to want him to be on the field for too long.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, is there anything else that we want to say before we get out of here? If there is, we can stay. We've only been live for 16 minutes, but at the same time, there's no need in us talking just to hear our own voices, which I do that sometimes.
Here's a question real quick, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with this game, but just week 1 roster. Do you think Chig or Josh Riley is going to start at tight end?
That's a good question. I wouldn't be surprised if the beginning of the season Chig is tight end 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season it's Josh Riley. But of course, I say that, but Chig has been extremely durable, and Josh Riley has not been. He missed a decent amount of time last season with injury, and now he's concussed again.
And is he still concussed?
Mm-hmm.
That's something I do hate. We have not seen him in preseason at all. I kind of did want to see him. He was someone going into preseason I wanted to keep an eye on, but sadly he hasn't played for us. Did he play in the first game and that one get concussed? I can't remember. When did he get?
No,
is it in practice?
He got concussed on one of the practice reps.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But anyways, with that being said, I think we're gonna go ahead and call this one put a little bow on it, tie it nice and neat, and get on out of here. Is there anything else you want to say before we hang it up?
I don't believe so.
Okay, well, next time that we're reacting to a game, it's going to be, or previewing a game, it's going to be against the Bears in week 1.
An actual game.
An actual game.
I know it's just preseason. But not lose yet. They have not lost with Caleb Williams yet.
Is that right?
Yes. Sorry.
I guess we'll see how that goes. So, anyways, we'll see you next time. So, peace out and all that jazz.